We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Missiles fired from Yemen, UPenn donors stand up for Israel, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lupkin, and here's the news you need to know. President Biden said Thursday in an Oval Office address that Americans must stand by Israel and Ukraine to ensure the United States continues to serve as a beacon to the world. History has taught us that when terrorists don't pay a price for their terror, when dictators don't pay a price for their aggression, they keep going, Biden said. He reportedly will ask Congress for $14 billion in emergency aid for Israel and another $60 billion to help Ukraine continue fighting Russia's invasion. The speech came amid a U.S. push to get humanitarian aid into Gaza as Israel continues a siege it started after the Hamas militants launched terrorist attacks that killed hundreds of Israelis on October 7th. Biden's brief remarks, however, were met with criticism, as many on both sides of the aisle accused him of trying to fix problems that he previously caused and attempted to use the slaughtering of Israelis and the current humanitarian crisis in Gaza to request additional funds in the Ukraine conflict. The shame of it all is that we wouldn't be in this terrible position if Joe Biden hadn't been so weak in Afghanistan, so slow in Ukraine, so pandering to Iran, and so absent from the border, wrote Nikki Haley, a Republican presidential candidate who is beating him in some head-to-head polls. The world is on fire, and America needs strong new leadership to deal with it. Some critics called his speech unbelievable and completely disgraceful. A U.S. Navy ship shot down 3 cruise missiles and several drones that were fired Thursday by Iran-linked terrorists in Yemen. The Pentagon said the missiles might have been aimed at Israel. Tehran and aligned groups have been threatening retaliation against Israel unless it halts strikes in Gaza in response to Hamas's brutal surprise attacks. We cannot say for certain what these missiles and drones were targeting, but they were launched from Yemen, heading north along the Red Sea, potentially toward targets in Israel, Pentagon spokesperson Brigadier General Patrick Ryder said. The United States has dispatched 2 aircraft carriers and numerous support ships to the Middle East as the Israel-Hamas war threatens to broaden. A prominent University of Pennsylvania donor sent his alma mater a $1 check with an annual pledge for the same amount as long as UPenn President Liz Magill remains at the school, joining a handful of other mega donors who continue to withhold donations over the school's response to the Israel-Hamas conflict and accusations of excusing anti-Semitism. He's just one of several major donors that's calling for changes at the top at the elite university as they grapple with the fallout of a recent on-campus event. It's gotten to the point that alumni president Michael Barrett penned a letter to his fellow Quakers reaffirming support for Magill, defending the school's handling of the situation, and criticizing the misinformation and heavy scrutiny the school has faced this month. On Sunday, Magill released a statement saying the school didn't move fast enough to address criticism of the Palestinian rights event and strongly condemned the Hamas terrorist assault on Israel. Her initial statement to the school didn't refer to Hamas as a terrorist group, although it called its attack aberrant and horrific. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said Thursday that inflation had cooled significantly this year, but remained unacceptably high and won't come down to the central bank's 2% target until the economy and job market slow. We certainly have a very resilient economy on our hands, Powell said at the Economic Club of New York. Instead of slipping into a recession, as many economists predicted, growth is now running for this year above its longer run trend, he added. But Powell said the Fed still might not have to raise interest rates again this year because spiking long-term bond rates are increasing borrowing costs just as a Fed rate hike would, and that could cool growth. The nation's top energy regulator authorized a major energy developer to move forward with a natural gas expansion project in the Pacific Northwest. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission issued a certificate Thursday for the so-called Gas Transmission Northwest Express project, which will upgrade 3 existing compressor stations and increase capacity on an existing system that has transported natural gas for decades. The developer, TC Energy, GOP lawmakers in Oregon, Idaho, and Washington, and labor unions have all called on the agency to issue the certificate. The GTN Express project will play a critical role in keeping energy affordable and reliable for consumers in California and the Pacific Northwest, TC Energy spokesperson Michael Tadeo told Fox News Digital. We appreciate FERC's bipartisan action today to approve the project and will work diligently to place it into service as soon as possible. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com/podcasts, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.